Hi there, Sandy here. Welcome to another polymer clay jewelry video at my YouTube channel and blog, keepsakecrafts.net. Today I'm going to show you how to make this really interesting pair of earrings. It has lots of sparkle and shine and interesting texture. So to make these earrings, the first thing you will need to do is choose the color of clay that you want. I just found this purple with a little bit of gold mixed in my polymer clay scrap bin, and that works out great. And I've rolled it out on the thickest setting of my pasta machine. To add the texture today, I'm going to be using one of these. These are texture plates, and I'll give you a link where you can buy this set. These are just some nice overall textures. There's bricks and cobblestones and grass and such. I'm going to use this one to make kind of these waving grasses design. Now before you use a texture plate, it's a good idea to apply a release. Because we're sending this through the pasta machine, we're going to press on it pretty hard. We want to be sure that the clay comes off. So what I like to do is give it a few spritzes of Armor All and then use a paper towel and wipe up the excess. So you don't see any on here, but what that will do is leave a thin film on the texture sheet and then your clay won't stick. And then the next thing you need to do is run the clay right on the texture sheet through your pasta machine. Just click it down one setting thinner. So I've gone ahead and run my sheet through. And you can see it comes off the texture plate very easily. And now you can cut out your design. Now often when we use polymer clay, we use a clay blade like this one. It's a little bit flexible but fairly rigid. But to get this design, I'm going to use a flexible clay blade. You can see it's very flexible. And that way I can use it to make a rather interesting earring design. So I'm just going to start with this nice long swoop. And you can have innies or outies, maybe like that. That's kind of interesting. So I'm just kind of designing on the fly. Now once you have one of these made, you can flip it upside down on your remaining clay and then use your blade to just follow along those lines and cut out a matching pair. And here I have a couple that I made earlier. I just put them on an index card and then put them in the oven at the manufacturer's recommended temperature for about 30 minutes. That's a little bit longer than the temperature states, but the longer you bake polymer clay, the stronger it gets. So once these pieces come out of the oven, the next thing you want to do is to drill your hole. And I like to use a drill bit like this one. I will have a link to it. First thing you want to do is take an awl and just mark where you want your hole to be. That will keep the bit from moving about. And then just gentle pressure. Polymer clay drills really easily. So just gentle pressure, let the bit do the work. Don't press too hard. And then you just go through. Pull it out to clean out the hole. You can go back and forth a few times to make it nice and neat. And here I have a cautionary tale for you. If you don't use the awl, your hole may end up being a little too close to the side. And then if you press too hard, you're going to snap off your piece. So use the awl and press gently. Now we can add that lovely gold shine. And what I use to do that is gilder's paste. In this case I used antique gold, but there are lots of colors available. And what I'm going to do is attach my pieces to this tile just with this stuff. This is a scrapbooking adhesive. It's a repositionable temporary adhesive, and it just makes it so much easier when you're working to have them attached to the tile. And then the gilder's paste, I like to apply it with my finger. And the nice thing about this nice deep texture is you can very easily highlight the tops with the gilder's paste. And I put a fair amount on my fingertip and just rub it all over. And now you see all that wonderful texture is highlighted. Now this can be smudged, but we can go right ahead with applying our resin. Okay, and now we're going to add that lovely shiny domed finish, and the product we're going to use is this. It's a product by Lisa Pavelka, who's a longtime polymer clayer, and she developed this Magic Gloss. It is a UV resin, which means it cures in the sun. You can also purchase a light that you can cure inside under. That way you can work in bad weather or at night. This stuff has a lot of surface tension, so you can just apply it in the middle and kind of nudge it over to the edges. And go ahead and go right over the hole that you made. We'll drill that out afterwards. You can see how you get that nice dome, and you just keep going all around until your entire piece is coated, and you can make it quite a bit higher than you might think. Like I said, it has a strong surface tension. If you get a few bubbles in your resin, you can let it sit for a couple hours, and those bubbles should rise to the top and pop. I wouldn't recommend letting it sit overnight. I tried doing that, and in the morning I found it had the surface tension had broken and it had kind of oozed over the edges. But I let it sit for a couple hours, and then the bubbles all popped. And now this you just put in the sun for about 15 minutes. I usually put it out on my back porch and forget about it for a while. If you're going to let it sit for a while, it's not a bad idea to put a bowl or something over it to keep it from getting dusty. And then you just let that cure. And when you come back, it'll be like this one, which I did a while ago. It's hard and shiny and fully cured. So I'm just going to use my firm blade to remove this from the tile. Now you'll notice on the back there's a little bit of the Magic Gloss that didn't cure because it was on the back. It wasn't exposed to the sun and it didn't cure. And all you need to do is take a baby wipe and you can just wipe it off and it'll just come right off. Next we need to drill out our hole again. Now the resin does take a little bit more work to drill than the clay, but it's not hard. You want to put your finger over the hole just to keep it from blowing out, and then work from the back just like you did with the hole in the clay piece, and then just light pressure and just keep twirling, kind of pull it out, clear it out. You can feel you have to press a little bit harder than you did with the polymer clay, but you'll feel it pressing against your finger, and just keep going. And once you feel it come out the other side, just keep pushing and twirling, push it back and forth and clear out that hole. And you can kind of keep pulling the drill bit up and down and back and forth just to make it nice and clean and neat. And then we're nearly done. All we need to do is add a few findings. To this earring, I just added a little rhinestone dangle and a jump ring and an ear wire. I did use a kind of a large jump ring, an 8mm jump ring here, because we needed to go over the distance from the point. So I'll just add on my rhinestone and a clay piece, and you may need to turn the loop of your ear wire so that it's facing forward. And there you have it. You could add lots of things to this. Like I looked at other charms. I thought a feather would be cute, but that's maybe a little big for this one, or that for maybe a larger pair of earrings. That kind of overwhelms it. You could also make smaller pieces out of the clay and put together a different kind of pair of earrings. And for a complete list of the materials and tools and supplies used in this project, you can click on the link to go to my blog. So here's another look at the project we made today. I hope you like this idea and that you'll give it a try. The techniques are simple and the possibilities are endless. Thanks so much for watching Keepsake Crafts videos. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and share. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, make sure you do, for 3 new videos every week. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday I upload. And be sure to follow me on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and on my blog. Happy creating. Bye-bye.